Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman Bailey Lowery on a wonderful, wonderful Tipsy Tuesday here in No Man's Land. Welcome into the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You guys can hop in on the show, 256-5764.
97.7. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. That is true, Bandy, and there is a lot to talk about with you guys as well. And, we're going to focus a little bit on the NFL today. We're going to have one Mr. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville on with us to talk a little bit about both Tennessee's productivity and the season, whether or not they could beat Georgia in the last true challenge for the Bulldogs in the season, and then on top of that, hop into a little bit more of these NFL matchups that came to an end with not one, not two, not three, but 6 field goals to finish off the matchups, NFL record right there, and it was amazing because it ended last night for a week that started with one of the worst matchups with the Panthers going up against the Bears, and then ending with another pretty iffy matchup with the Bills going up against the Broncos. The Broncos looking to be a little bit better, but the Bills, on the other hand, finally, Josh Allen's starting to hit with that curse because he's on the cover of the Madden 24 game. And, of course, if you guys know, if the Madden game isn't good, then the cover athlete's not going to be that good either during the season. And, Bandy, that is definitely kind of how it's been going. That's been the trend, I would say, for the last decade and a half for sure. But first thing I kind of want to hop into, Bandy, we talked quite a bit about, these other college matchups that went on. Obviously, Alabama versus Kentucky and Alabama moving forward. But seeing that Alabama's going up against the Chattanooga team, we kind of know that this team, needs to, cycle through some of the players, let everybody kind of have their time off and then kind of go towards that next matchup that's going to be against Auburn, which is going to be a pretty close matchup, I would say, at least for the first little bit of it, okay? It's a challenge going into the game, but then seeing how Alabama works through that Auburn team is going to be definitely, something that we'll probably see kind of similar to that Kentucky game. We have some worries, and then, they kind of go away pretty quick.
I mean, Chattanooga, it's like this is your time to get a lot of those second string guys in, maybe third string, depending on how the game's going. I mean, we could see some Ty Simpson action in this matchup. I actually already forgot his name, but Tommy Reese's kid.
Yeah, okay. I forgot, honestly.
The quarterback he brought in from Notre Dame. We could possibly see in...
Was it Sam Buckner or something like that? I forgot him.
I don't think that's it.
It's Buckner. I know that much, but we haven't had to see him.
Is it Tyler Buckner?
Tyler Buckner. I believe it's Tyler Buckner, yeah. You get mixed up with the other guys. But we haven't had to see those guys. Yeah. It was a concern early on the season whether or not we'd be seeing a little bit more of Ty Simpson and Buckner, but that's not a worry anymore because now we're talking about Jalen Milroe and whether or not, he should be involved in that Heisman race, which, speak of the devil, let's talk about that Heisman race before we get into a little bit of this Elijah Drinkowitz type of story because he's one of the few coaches that's probably going to be, solidified in his position as a Missouri head coach moving forward. But looking down at this Heisman watch, okay, we're going to run down some of these stats for some of these quarterbacks and also this one wide receiver that's in the poll as well because, you know what, Marvin Harris Jr. is doing pretty good, and it hasn't been too long since we saw a wide receiver win the Heisman. Obviously, Devontae Smith only a few years ago, but Michael Penix Jr. on the season, he's got 3,533 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's a 68% completion rating and 2 rushing touchdowns on the season. It's surprising. 2 rushing touchdowns on the season compared to the 28 touchdown passes that he's had. He's still doing quite a bit, and he's still leading the Heisman watch going into Week 12, or going into Week 13. Jaden Daniels sits behind him, which I gotta say, guys, this guy is absolutely legit. I don't care. He needs to win the Heisman Trophy. If he doesn't, I'm going to be very upset about it, but he's got 3,146 passing yards, 30 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the season. That's pretty good. 71.4 completion rating. And then he's got 918 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. Guys, we look over at the rushing yard leaders in the SEC. It goes Cody Schrader, which he's been spectacular. Let me tell you, what he did against Tennessee was ridiculous. Over 200 yards and obviously a plethora of touchdowns. Ray Davis sits behind him. Surprised to see, I would say that after that Alabama performance because he wasn't able to do anything against that Alabama defense. And then third is Jaden Daniels with 918 yards rushing. Behind him, Quinshawn Judkins, and behind him, Jalen Wright for Tennessee. It's insane to say that the guy that's leading in the passing yards in the SEC is also top 3 in rushing yards. You don't see that much, guys. These are Lamar Jackson type stats at Louisville. And that's at Louisville. This is in the SEC. We're talking about high-powered running backs. We're talking about solid quarterbacks.
Good defenses.
And we're talking about spectacular defenses. And Jaden Daniels has just been able to pick apart all of it. And that's the only reason that I think that, Jaden Daniels, since he has to go up against these high-powered defenses as well as, these other teams that will challenge them on offense, I do think that Jaden Daniels deserves it over, I would say, Michael Penix Jr. Now, on top of that, there's more quarterbacks to look at. Jordan Travis, he's kind of been slithering his way to the top, but he has been solid on an undefeated Florida State team that could stay undefeated until the end of the season. He's got 2,734 passing yards, not as much as the other quarterbacks. He's got 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's the thing we look at, okay? The consistency to not turn the ball over is spectacular. He's 64.1% completion rating. He's got 160 rushing yards with 7 touchdowns. Compare that to number 2, Jaden Daniels, 918. I mean, this is night and day. There shouldn't be a third place.
Can I say this about Jordan Travis?
Okay.
No doubt he's been playing very well.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been spectacular yet.
No.
And we've seen spectacular games out of Jaden Daniels pretty much every other week.
Yeah.
Bo Nix just absolutely routing USC with his 3rd time throwing for 400-plus yards this season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 3rd time throwing for 4 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah.
1st time breaking the 400 passing yard mark.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, we're looking at a Jordan Travis who's
We
playing.
haven't seen that out of him yet against the kind of teams he's been playing.
Yeah, he's, again, playing in that ACC that has not been as, athletic as it should be. I mean, as the name really says. Florida State's at number 1. Do you know who's at number 2, Bandy?
Who's at number 2?
I want you to guess real quick.
Is it Clemson?
No, it's not Clemson.
It's not Clemson?
It's not gonna be Clemson. Clemson's near the bottom. That's the crazy thing, okay?
Who's sitting at number 2 in the ACC?
So who's going to challenge them? You'd think it's North Carolina because, they've been the second team to be talked about in this whole thing. No, it's Louisville. They're 6-1 in their conference and they're 9-1 overall, which is insane to think about. But we're looking at a Florida State team that really has not been challenged at all this season except for early on against some teams that, honestly, they shouldn't have been challenged against. And a Clemson team that was at home where Clemson thrives, I would say. But it really has shown you that, Jordan Travis, he's doing a good job on the season, but he's playing against an ACC that's not as challenging as it used to be. Bo Nix sits at number 4. He's, been pretty spectacular as well. 3,135 passing yards, 29 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. Why is he 4th? This is the reason why I don't believe, in all of these, pre-Heisman picks, okay? Bo Nix has been scraping his way to the top this entire time. And he's similar to Alabama where this team looks way better than, a lot of these other teams. And this quarterback looks a lot better than a lot of these other quarterbacks. And he still sits at number 4 behind Jordan Travis, which if this is a stat thing, it doesn't make any sense. Because, again, 29 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, 77.7% completion rating. That's better than all the other quarterbacks in this Heisman race. And he's got 5 touchdowns on the season rushing as well. Marvin Harris Jr., why don't wide receivers win the Heisman? Well, a lot of the times there's some spectacular quarterbacks ahead of him. That's the same case for this year. He does have 1,000 yards on the season receiving. He's got 13 touchdowns, and it's on 61 touches. So talk about spectacular performance. This young man is doing just that, and he will definitely be going in the first round next season. And then behind him, J.J. McCarthy. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't care. Okay, Bandy? I don't care. I could go all in on this punishment that was given to Michigan. It's not right now.
There's a punishment?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Right now, I don't want to talk about it because we got to wait a little bit more. Obviously, Harbaugh's going to talk on Friday. We're going to hear what he gets to say about all this stuff. And, we're going to finally figure out whether or not this team genuinely cheated or not just by looking at this guy. Maybe, what would be awesome? What would really make this interesting? Hook him up to a lie detector. How about that? Then we can truly figure it out. And we don't need to ask all these questions and be like, well, did he or did he not? No, he'll have a lie detector on. It's going to check whenever his heart rate spikes. Every single time they ask him about, what were these tickets all about? And then he's going to be like, I don't know anything. Beep. That's a lie. Mr. Harbaugh, that was a lie.
I'm just not seeing it as that big a deal.
You don't see it as that big of a deal?
No, every team steals signs.
Yeah,
Michigan just got caught
You know what?
against someone who just doesn't want Harbaugh to be there.
Yeah, but does every team buy tickets for, associates to sit on the sidelines?
There are different ways of going about it, but I mean, I will admit, having the guy dress up in the other team's gear with the spy glasses,
that's a little wacky. That's a little wacky. We'll save that for a Wacky Wednesday if we want to talk a little bit more about it. We'll talk with Drew about it, and on Friday we'll also talk with Drew about it because we got to talk about it because, this is a Michigan team that could possibly be in the playoffs. We'll have to see how that all goes down. But, Bandy, we got a lot to get into today, and I'm looking very much forward to it. Joe Hunk will be on with us in the next segment. We also have callers on the Flow hotline. So let's hop into that second segment here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Want even more excitement on game day? It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you could win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out, watch your entry update in real time, and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code primetime for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Hey there, UAH fans. I'm Morris Lilienthal. If you've been injured in an accident, visit morristheattorney.com right now to get the help you need. Don't let the insurance company take advantage of you. I have personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims, and I'm ready to help you too. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 5-star Google reviews. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. Look forward to helping you. Go Chargers.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowery of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high, but so is average consumer debt? Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit northalabamamortgage.com for more information.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at superstore.com.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero. in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Crawdad's on the Flow Hotline. Crawdad, get yourself in here. What's up, man?
Hey, guys, I just want to let y'all know a little fact. I don't know if you were tracking it or not. By the way, I missed the prediction last week. Holy Cross played good, but the absolute proof to me that Jim Harbaugh is guilty as charged is his little henchman, Colin Stallions, is a graduate of the Naval Academy.
Okay. So,
did y'all know that?
I did not know that. Does he have a little bit of, like, a spy background, maybe, like a secret agent or something?
No, I don't know his background, but it's just it proves to me that if you're going to really be a dumbass and hire somebody to be your spy, hire somebody from the boat school.
No.
And that's it. Enjoying the show. See you guys.
Good stuff. Crawdad just proved everything for us. We got Joe now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, at least here in a second. And I kind of want to focus a little bit on, the Heisman. I want to go a little bit on Tennessee because, it's not every day we get to talk crap about Tennessee nowadays. And as they lost to Mizzou, we look at Eli Drinkowitz and his past. And, 5 years of coaching, at a high level in the college football world. It really, you got to look back on the past and see where he all started. And he's no stranger to beating SEC teams. He's no stranger to winning in the SEC, and he's been doing that ever since he was the coach of Appalachian State back in 2019. But to help us out with talking a little bit of Tennessee, both in the NFL and college football, as well as just college all around, it's one Mr. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Did you drive Kit to the studio today?
Did I what?
God, you don't know who Kit is?
Kit? Who's Kit? Bandy? What am I missing right
Kit
now?
from Knight Rider?
Oh,
yes.
No, I
He's
didn't.
dressed like David Hasselhoff today.
You did. You called me out. I'm wearing my leather jacket for the first time. This one actually is 50-50 polyester, so it's not 100% leather, but I'll make sure I wear the actual one later on.
I seriously thought I was watching the video and I went, why is this man dressed like David Hasselhoff?
I gotta bring the drip. I'm
not bashing him. Trust me. I mean, I'm all about some good attire, but I'm just saying, like, the first thing I thought of was that you had Kit out in the parking lot.
I'm driving the Mustang, man.
See? Okay, so that I actually, you know what? When they did a remake of Knight Rider, I'm pretty sure they used a Mustang.
Probably. It was either that or a Camaro. I would say a new Camaro. I'm trying to remember exactly because I know the cars. I definitely love the vehicles that guy
it was in the 90s. It may have only had like 3 episodes, but I'm pretty sure that they used either a Mustang or a Camaro for a Kit. Just saying. So,
yeah. Those 90s Camaros were pretty ugly, though. Bandy, figure that out for us. But, Joe, we got to talk a little bit about Tennessee, both in the NFL and in the college football world. Obviously, the Tennessee Vols didn't do too well against the Mizzou Tigers, but I kind of predicted this, okay? This is a good Mizzou Tigers team, and they were playing at Mizzou as well, and I didn't think it'd be this lopsided, but that's exactly what we got. Kind of just run down exactly what went wrong for Tennessee and, how they can rebound against the best team in the country.
I don't know if they can, to be honest with you, because it's the weird part about that game was it was not even like Tennessee was ever truly in it. I mean, it was, there's something about emotion in this. And I mean, we could talk about skill and, should Tennessee eventually go to Nico and, all these other things that people are want to talk about. But at the same time, it was just, there felt like there was no light to the defense. There felt like there was no light to the offense. And I don't know why. I guess if you wanted to write down the potential trap games for last week, that would have potentially been one, because we know that if Tennessee would have won that game, that this would have been for the East this week, because they'd have been focused on Georgia. So it was almost just like they were lifeless. I don't think that there was an X's and O's problem with this. I think it was more about how they were just dead. I mean, they just literally felt like they didn't even come out of the locker room to play the game. And that's really the only way that you can describe the way they played on Saturday.
Yeah, the last bit of life I've actually seen out of this team, obviously you guys beat Connecticut last week. Before that, it was a close game against Kentucky, which I think that Tennessee actually was in control of that game the majority of the way through. And then the last time I saw like a true Tennessee team was in that first half against Alabama and against Mizzou. I mean, you look at what happened. I mean, you don't have your running backs really performing well. Your defense isn't performing well against the other team's run. Cody Schrader put up 205 yards off of 35 carries. He was also the leading receiver for this team. It just looked very strange for the Tennessee Vols, despite them scoring the first touchdown of the game.
Well, no, and I think that you brought up an interesting thing about the Tennessee game, because that was the last time that Tennessee actually looked like quote-unquote Tennessee, and that ended up literally losing a football game that they should not have lost because they were dominating that in the first half. You know, all they had to do is just not screw up in the second half, and they screwed up big time in this because that is when you decided to, hey, we're just not going to spy your quarterback, and all he's going to do is just make one read and run. But I think that even with going into the Missouri game, it's something as though after the Tennessee game or after the Alabama game, Tennessee's played different because I feel like that carrot is not there anymore. That whole college football playoff national championship type thoughts that everybody had been thinking of, oh, your quarterback's going to be the number one player in the draft, and how great is he going to be because he's going to be better than Hendon Hooker. That all kind of went out the window in Tuscaloosa. So this team hasn't played with the same emotion, which is wild because you do have the number one team in the country coming in, but unfortunately now you've lost 3 games. There's no way you're making it to a college football playoff, and now you're just trying to possibly make it to a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, it's really all about ruining Georgia's fun in the playoff hopes. But I'm rooting for Tennessee in this one. It makes this a lot more interesting, despite obviously the SEC championship still being set for Alabama versus Georgia. But on the other end, talk about Elijah Drinkowitz, the coach for Mizzou. I mean, he isn't a stranger to winning against SEC teams, and this goes all the way back to the South Carolina win when he was the head coach of Appalachian State, when he was able to make this Appalachian State team in the Sun Belt, a pretty competitive team, being 19th in the country, and then now just being ranked yet again as a Missouri head coach here in 2023.
Look, I promise you, if you took off those Missouri uniforms and gave them any other team in the SEC outside of Vanderbilt, the entire nation would be loving Drink. I mean, he's a quotable guy. He is somebody that every single moment that he gets on a microphone, he's going to give you a great quote. He's not shy of doing what he thinks or saying what he thinks. Plus, you are looking at a football team that nobody likes. And I'm just saying it straight up. If you're an SEC fan, Missouri's just not sexy to you, like at all. It's just not as sexy, especially now that Texas and Oklahoma are coming into the SEC. It's like, oh yeah, and we also have Missouri. Like, okay, yeah, you guys are up there in Missouri, and you're not anything that we want to pay attention to.
No.
But if you were to put this Missouri team in Arkansas uniforms, or if you were to put this Missouri team, heck, even in Mississippi State uniforms, people would be talking about them more than what they are because of the way that Drink is, because he is so polarizing. I have no clue if the media just doesn't travel to Columbia, Missouri, but he is just he's an amazing person. He's an absolute fantastic coach, and I know that people want to talk about who's going to be the next coach at Texas A&M, who's going to be the next coach at this. Drinkwitz should be up for other coaching jobs because of how well he's done at Missouri, and the fact that Missouri at this point in time is still not a school that is investing in the football program the way that other schools are. You don't have a city that people want to come to in Columbia. It's nowhere near. I think the closest city that it's near is Kansas City, which is Big 12 country.
Yeah.
So you're not sexy in any way when it comes to Missouri football, but they just keep playing well. If you put them in any other uniform, the country would love this team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, they're sitting second in the SEC East right now behind Georgia, and despite them losing to Georgia earlier on in the season, I mean, it was a very close game, and it's something that I was talking about, like, how competitive can this Mizzou team be against some real challengers, and so far they've been able to, prove me wrong in every single test, and that's why they have gained a fan. Even though I might not go out to Missouri, even though they have really good food over there, I know that's for sure. I think their barbecue is pretty amazing, but I'm still, I'm not going to...
Kansas City barbecue is legit. legit.
Yeah.
Kansas City barbecue is absolutely amazing. But that's why I say Kansas City barbecue and not saying Columbia, Missouri barbecue. Because, again, nobody goes to Columbia, Missouri for anything. Okay? Like, outside of becoming a better broadcaster, nobody comes to Missouri or goes to Columbia, Missouri for anything whatsoever. And they're like in a dead zone. They are. They're in the middle of nobody talks about them in the SEC and nobody talks about them from the Big 12 where they used to be because they're now in the SEC.
Yeah, good stuff.
And because of where they're at, they are also not talked about inside the city of Kansas City because they're talking about the Chiefs majority of the time, and they're not going to be talking about Missouri football or Missouri basketball because Kansas City is going to be talking more about Kansas basketball or Kansas State basketball.
Yeah, definitely in an awkward place. But good stuff from Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone. Joe, talk about this Tennessee Titans team. We thought they were kind of turning over a new leaf with Will Levis at the helm. They lose 2 straight and 1 bad to the Buccaneers. Now going up against the Jaguars, who also had a struggle in their matchup against the 49ers. I mean, how do you see this one going out with the Titans traveling?
They got their tails kicked.
Yeah, traveling yet again.
I mean, yeah. Well, and like right now, as we're talking, I have actually had the Pittsburgh game on from a couple of weeks ago, where they knocked out Kenny Pickett, and then you had Mitchell Trubisky come into this. This offense for the Jaguars is special, okay, because of the fact that, yes, you have Calvin Ridley. He's actually now become this receiver that in the first few weeks of the regular season, I think a lot of teams were trying to figure out if he was going to still be a good Calvin Ridley or if he was going to, if there was going to be a regression. Once people in the NFL saw that there wasn't a regression, that he was still the wide receiver that was the first-round draft pick of the Atlanta Falcons, they had to start giving him more respect, and they've had to start focusing on him a little bit more. The problem with focusing on him is you have a running back in the backfield in Travis Etienne that is also a receiver. Like, there were points in time with Travis Etienne before the Liz Fank injury where they were talking about potentially turning him into a receiver, and all the Jags were actually doing were trying to make him a better receiver out of the backfield. And that's exactly what you're seeing. I mean, even against this Pittsburgh team a couple of weeks ago, Etienne ran a tremendous wheel route wide open and went into the end zone untouched because of how good of a receiver he's been recently. Between him, Ingram, Kirk, as well as Calvin Ridley, you have tons of weapons on this Jaguars team. And them totally just screwing the pooch last week against the 49ers is something that blows me away. Like, I'm about to watch that film once we get done because I want to know what on earth the 49ers actually did to the Jaguars to come into Jacksonville and just absolutely own them in this football game. But, that's where this Jaguars team is hands down the best team in the AFC South. And the Titans, on the other hand, you cannot give Will Levis any time to pass. You just can't. Like, I don't know what the Jags or the Titans need to do to try to give him a little bit more time. But Andre Dillard, who got knocked out with concussion, he's in concussion protocol. He's most likely not even going to be playing this weekend. The Titans are literally bringing offensive linemen in from other practice squads, and they're getting starts or they're getting backup reps because of the Dillard injury. When Dillard went out against last week or on Sunday against the Bucs, you had to move Dylan Radins over to the left tackle position. You had to bring a guy in at right guard who seriously had just signed to the team 3 days ago. And I don't care what Josh Dobbs is doing in the NFL, to sign with the team 3 days and then go in and play a ton of snaps for them is a major deal. And the Titans already have a bad offensive line, and now Andre Dillard being injured is not helping this. MPF being injured is not helping this. Brunskill being out is not helping this. The Titans had 2 healthy offensive linemen this week.
It's really tough to see, but Will Levis got to be able to extend some plays himself as well. But good stuff, Joe. Can't wait to talk with you again next week.
Real quick, Captain Cool, because Joe, you are the host of the Gamer Zone, right?
Yes, and I'm literally, as we are talking right now, practicing Madden.
Okay. What kind of surprised me, we got the Game Award nominees announced last night.
Don't tell me Madden's in there.
No, for one, Madden's not in there because I thought it would be nominated for Best Sports Game. Instead, it's EAFC. But we got the Game of the Year nominees for 2023. I wanted to run down this list. I want you to throw me who you would pick.
Okay, here we go.
Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2.
Oh, Spider-Man 2 is legit.
Resident Evil 4.
All right, Resident Evil 4 is looking amazing.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Oh.
And Tears of a Kingdom, the Legend of Zelda game.
Great. There needs to be a writing candidate for Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, they're due.
I mean, seriously.
That
Why
surprised a
on
lot
earth
of
is
people that Harry Potter wasn't up there.
How on earth did Harry Potter not get on this list? Because that game, the Hogwarts Legacy, was hands down the most fun game of 2022. It just was. I mean, in 2023, until or 2023, because it came out towards the end of 2022. But when that game came out, I could not get enough of it because, I have a niece right now that's in the other room. She babysits our daughter, and every single day I'd be like, listen what you can do on Hogwarts. Look at what you can do on this. Look what you can do that. You can run these spells. You can ride the broom. You can go over to Hogsmeade. You can do all this stuff. How that game is not into this, but I will tell you that Spider-Man 2 should win that because I've only gotten to play about 3 missions of Spider-Man 2 because I promised my son that I would only play that game with him. And in doing so, those 3 or 4 missions that we've gotten to play so far, it is one of the most beautiful and one of the most well-done video games that I have ever played. It absolutely is. But Harry Potter should be on there. And Hogwarts Legacy, but the fact is, if we're just going with the answers on that, it should be Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, my personal pick, I was surprised to see it up here, was Resident Evil 4 Remake. I didn't think it would get up here after, I think, the second remake, the RE2 remake, got a Game of the Year nod.
Yeah.
But seeing it up here just made me so happy because, I mean, they did a 10 out of 10 job with this remake. I cannot recommend it enough.
Good stuff. Joe, can't wait to talk
We're out
with
of time
you.
to talk about this, but hey, go play it.
Yeah.
Go play both.
All right. Absolutely. I will. I appreciate you guys. Tell Kit I said hello outside.
All right.
And I will talk to you guys next week.
Good stuff. Joe Hunk from 104.5 The Zone. You can find him on everything at Joe Hunk. That's what he tells us, so I'm not even going to ask him exactly where to find him. Either way.
Madden coming up tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Love you guys.
Exactly.
Bye.
Love you, Joe. We got to hop into a break. When we come back, NFL Rundown's coming your way here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event. This is the time of year to give thanks for all the good things in our lives. And at Woody Anderson Ford, we give thanks that you're driving a Ford. Right now, we've got financing as low as 2.9% for up to 60 months on 2023 Explorer and Bronco Sport, plus $1,500 in bonus cash. Even our 2023 F-150 Crew Cab has $1,500 bonus cash and financing as low as 3.9%. And our lease rates are great too. 2023 Bronco Sport, $389 a month. 23 Explorer, $537 a month. And our 23 F-150 Crew Cab, just $449 a month, plus $3,000 in total trade assistance and red carpet lease cash. These are 36-month leases with $36.95 on Bronco Sport, $49.21 on Explorer, and $51.51 on F-150 due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end November 30th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. It's Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event, and we hope to see you soon.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle's known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do afterpaint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and lower 70s. We're probably going to see a couple of isolated showers across the Tennessee Valley. The best chance for that's going to end up coming Tuesday night, early into Wednesday morning, and then we get other opportunities for rain through Wednesday afternoon. We are going to be a little cooler on Wednesday under a cloudy sky. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, this process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in, everybody. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandiman, Bailey Lowery. Bandy. Fantasy football for me did not go that well, but I was playing up against Chad, and I did beat him early on in the season, so I had to give him a win. So good job, Chad. I know you're here. You can hear me, right? Yeah. What he said, whatever. You know, he got the dub. Okay, it was a good little win for him. But Bandy, we got some games to run down.
I've been scared to check mine.
You've been scared to check yours. You got to keep up with it, man.
What am I looking at? Oh, I got destroyed.
Oh no. Well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much out of it already. I'm 4-6.
Well, that's not saying too much, Bandy, because I'm not doing that much better than you. I'm just able to keep up. I'm 5-5 right now, but I definitely do have a very talented team.
I'm just kind of transitioning into that commissioner role, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, you know, that's how you got to be.
I'm retiring as a player. I'm just slipping quietly into retirement.
Well, I mean, the commissioner of my league's currently, beating me and still playing pretty well, even though he's, saying whatever. I was trying to be, nice about it all. But either way, we got to talk about some of these matchups in the NFL. Bandy, if you can find me that NFL music, that would be great, because I did not get it up because I'm not ready. But that's because we had a great conversation with one Mr. Joe Hunk. We were very invested talking about Tennessee and NFL, all that stuff, as well as some video game talk that definitely impeded the Bandiman Bailey Lowery. But let's hop into this NFL Rewind. I feel like
that's not it.
This is like the Tom Abraham show, man. I can do the Tom impression.
You can do it?
Yeah, turn it down a little bit, though.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right, let's see it.
Bears versus Panthers, start of the week. Honestly, just two terrible, terrible teams going up against each other. 16-3. I'm not even going to talk about what Bryce Young or Tyler Bagent did. It was just a terrible game. 16-13 was the score of that one. Bears win it. Two teams that nobody cares about right now. Moving on. Raiders versus the Jets. This one was a little bit back and forth. Again, low scoring, a lot of field goals, but the Raiders were able to get a touchdown late in this one to win it all. Aiden O'Connell, 153 yards passing with the touchdown. Josh Jacobs really feeling himself. 27 attempts for 116 yards. Zach Wilson, he's so on and off. He shows spurts of, greatness and then spurts of absolute delirium. I don't know why he's even on the field in the first place. The Jets are just going to ride with him until one Mr. Aaron Rodgers can come back in possibly December. Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Either way, Raiders get the win in this one, moved to 5-5, then been doing very well on the season as the Jets fall to 4-5, which is very surprising with Zach Wilson at the helm. Seahawks versus Commanders. Let me tell you, there were a lot of field goal games that came down to the wire. This was definitely one of them. Seahawks and the Commanders went at it. Sam Howell still playing extremely well despite being on a lackluster roster. 312 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. Brian Robinson Jr. doing absolutely everything for this team, whether it's receiving, whether it's running. That's what the NFL needs. Running backs that can catch the ball and run very quickly. Similar to what Joe Hunk was talking about. Travis Etienne, same type of thing right there. You got to have wide receivers at the running back position. He had 119 yards in the passing game with a touchdown as well, and then the rushing game was kind of lackluster. Kenneth Walker Jr. on the other team did pretty good as well with 63 yards rushing, and DK Metcalf, with 98 yards receiving, and Geno Smith still playing very good football. 29-26 was the score of that one. Seahawks win and move to 6-3. 6-3. This team deserves to beat the Cleveland Browns a few weeks ago. Cowboys versus the Giants. The Giants are falling apart even more than I thought they could. DeVito did pretty well, I guess. He had 2 touchdowns. That's more than I could say anything that Daniel Jones would do for this team. But 49-17 does not look good at the end of the day, Bandy.
No, the Giants are in a rough spot.
Yeah.
But you know who's in a worse spot?
Who?
The Patriots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, we'll get to that one here in a second. But Dak Prescott, 4 touchdowns, 404 yards passing, an absolutely lights-out performance. And Brandon Cooks, John had him on the fantasy football team early on in the season. He ended up dropping him, and Brandon Cooks ended up dropping 173 yards on the passing game with a touchdown himself. Saquon Barkley, the only guy really keeping that Giants team together as they fall to 2-8 on the season as the Cowboys move to 6-3. Moving on, the Lions versus the Chargers. Lions are back on that win column in this close game that came down to a field goal yet again. 41-38 was the score in this one. I gotta say, this was a wonderful matchup between 2 great quarterbacks. Jared Goff, 333 yards, but Justin Herbert had 323 with 4 touchdowns. A spectacular matchup between these guys, but the real stars, you gotta go to those running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, absolutely amazing with 2 touchdowns on the day, and then David Montgomery with that insane breakaway touchdown where he was threading the needle on the sideline to score that touchdown. He had 116 yards on the day, and Amon-Ra St. Brown had 156 to really solidify that win. 41-38 in the highest scoring matchup of the week. Falcons versus Cardinals. You know who's back, Kyler Murray, even though, also Call of Duty's back. We didn't think he'd be able to perform well, and he did just enough to get this team the win as he was able to rush in for a touchdown. Used his feet quite a little bit, but at the end of the day, it really came down to the Falcons really kicking themselves with Bijan Robinson putting up 95 yards and a touchdown. And then the biggest question, who's going to play quarterback position for this Falcons team? I think Chad would answer that one for us, but honestly, it just was not a good matchup either way with a 2-8 Cardinals team going up against the 4-6 Falcons as the Cardinals win this one and move to 2-8. Moving on, Buccaneers versus Titans. Baker Mayfield looking solid. That Titans team is not looking too solid, I will say. 4-5 the Buccaneers are as the Titans fall to 3-6 with a 20-6 win over Tennessee. Moving on, 49ers absolutely obliterate the Jaguars, get back on their horse. This was a 6-2 Jaguars team that the 49ers were going up against. They were riding hot, but the 49ers, they came out with a vengeance because they lost the last 3 games straight, and that is what the Jaguars did to them. They didn't do anything. It was literally nothing. Joe Hunk asked why? Because the 49ers have been losing and they need to get back on that hot streak, and they just did it with that 34-3 win as they move to 6-3 on the season. Moving forward, the Vikings and the Saints went up to play each other. Joshua Dobbs is a legit quarterback, and honestly, this Vikings team is threatening a playoff run. 6-4 on the season after starting the year terrible. Okay? And you know what? The Saints, the most disappointing team in all of football, I will say. Derek Carr left the game early, and Jameis Winston came in to throw 2 spectacular touchdowns, but it was really the wide receivers who made it all happen. Alvin Kamara had 42 yards on the day, while TJ Hawkinson was the star of the day with 134 yards receiving and a touchdown, and Josh Dobbs gets his second win as a Vikings quarterback. Spectacular win as the Vikings move to 6-4 on the season. Texans-Bengals, C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year. I'm calling it now. He's doing spectacular things for this team. And on top of that, Nico Brown, oh, sorry, not Nico Brown, but one of the wide receivers, I got to say, Noah Brown, had 172 yards. It's like every other week, it's just a different guy who's performing for C.J. Stroud, and right there, it was Noah Brown as they win 30-27 against the AFC North. Moving on, Packers versus Steelers. This is the game with teams that just have the biggest question marks, Bandy, I will say. 23-19 was the score in that one, but I don't care about that one because I'm looking at the Browns versus the Ravens, baby. 33-31. This is the most different matchup I've ever seen. Deshaun Watson finally starting to get into this way. The first touchdown came from a pick six, mind you. The Browns were down 14-0, and they were able to come back slowly but surely after all of the negative plays, after the muffed punts, after all this crazy stuff happened. The Browns defense able to show up as well as their special teams to get them the win, and Lamar Jackson was playing well on both the passing and the running game. Colts and Patriots, do we talk about it? We talk about it because it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it was abysmal. Patriots are 2-8.
Holy crap. Mac Jones got sacked like a billion times in this game, and there weren't too many points scored as the Colts win 10-6 and move to 5-5 on the season. That's the same record the Bills have now as they lost to the Broncos 24-22. Just an absolutely weird game last night. Came down to the wire and gave us our sixth kicking game of the season. And this is why you have a kicker on your team, guys. Okay, this is why you have a kicker on your team, because it was an amazing weekend for football. Arizona Cardinals able to beat the Atlanta Falcons with Matt Prater's field goal. Detroit Lions able to beat the Los Angeles Chargers with Riley Patterson's field goal. And then we got the Seahawks versus Commanders, Jason Myers' field goal. Browns over the Ravens with Dustin Hopkins' field goal after missing the extra point in the last kick. And then the Houston Texans over the Bengals, Matt Amendola with his 38-yard field goal. And then, of course, the Denver Broncos over the Buffalo Bills with Will Lutz, 36-yard field goal. Baby, we got hit in the break because we're going behind. Either way, final segment coming up here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flosa Premier. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flo tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flo, think fun for everyone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
What's better than 2 end-zone sports bars?
3 end-zone sports bars.
And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District, on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. End Zone Sports Bar.
Everything you need is just a click away.
I should come up sometime, see me.
Okay, almost everything.
Come up, I'll tell you a fortune.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. 977 ESPN, The Zone.
Bandy, it's been a lot of fun today. You can join in on the show, 256-5764.
97.7.
And we have a few minutes so you guys can hop in. One of those things that I want to talk about with you guys is definitely this Heisman race, because I feel like if you're leading, in the SEC in quite a bit of positions, I feel like you should probably be a Heisman winner, okay? That's just kind of how it's been in the last few years, and I think it should honestly continue to be that way with obviously Jaden Daniels just being spectacular as he climbs to the top, but he's got to get past Michael Penix Jr. And I think the main reason is why LSU's not undefeated, whereas Washington definitely is undefeated, and they're going to try and continue to be undefeated as they go up against the DJ Ulalega and the Oregon State Beavers. But Bandy, this show has been presented by the wonderful people over at Fleming Roofing and Restoration. If you guys need anybody to fill or to fix your roof, definitely head on over to FlemingHSV.com to fill out your free quote. And remember that Fleming always shows up. They'll do a great job of it as well. Very confident in those guys. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's going to continue to be a lot of fun here on the station, because later today we're going to have Alabama going up against South Alabama in men's basketball as Alabama tries to get to a better position, even though they're still in the top 24 or the top 25, Bandy. I mean, this is a good basketball team, but it's early in the season, okay? It's early in the season. They haven't really played any competitors as of yet, but they have been able to put up over 200 points in their first 2 matchups, and they look to continue it tonight against the South Alabama. On top of that, we'll have more men's basketball as Kansas and Kentucky go at it later tonight. And on top of that, the drive's going to be live from Furniture Factory, so make sure you guys check out Steve and Wes as they will be live on location tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. Bandy, we got a long week ahead of us. What are you looking forward to prior to the NFL and college football slate we got?
Well, I mean, we got a couple NBA games on today that I'm going to be looking forward to. I mean, we've got the in-season tournament going on, which it's kind of come out like not even some of the players really know what's going on, but it's been kind of fun. But court designs have been a mess, though.
Yeah, they've been atrocious.
Some of these designs have been bad.
Yeah.
But the Jazz play Portland tonight, and our court's actually pretty cool.
Yeah? Okay.
Bias completely not in the picture.
Yeah.
Not whatsoever at all.
I got to do a little review of those City Connect uniforms. They got all those teams, too.
There's only going to be like 4 that aren't in like D tier.
There's some that are really bad. We should do a tier list, though, Bandy, whenever we got time. Maybe on... it's going to be a tough week to get it in, but maybe on Thursday. We'll try and do that. But tomorrow...
A tier list Thursday.
We'll have RJ White to talk a little bit more NFL, as well as Drew DeArmond to help start off the show, as we're going to talk a little bit more about some recruiting in the college football world. But for me and the Bandiman, we've had a lot of fun today, but it's time to say goodbye. 22 hours until we'll be back here on the Morning Blitz.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford's Thanksgiving sales event. This is the time of year to get